Good morning, guys. So in the previous session, last session, we covered SDLC, testing lifecycle, introduction to performance testing, and functional testing versus non-functional testing. So we started here. We started with SDLC and I covered it here, right? So, and I shared this PPT also to those who confirmed their joining. Okay, so let me know if I missed anyone. Now, let's see what are the important reasons for doing performance testing, or what are the driving factors for doing performance testing. And also I explained this one in performance testing introduction, isn't it? So now, what are the reasons for doing performance testing, or what are the driving factors for performance testing? Let's understand that. Right. So there are four major factors for doing performance testing. One is, let me go to the slideshow mode. I think I already gave an introduction yesterday. So the first one is speed. What is meant by speed? When I say speed is checking if the application responds quick enough for the intended users. Right? Whether the application responds quick enough for the intended users, right? And that speed is measured in, or that speed is termed as response time in performance testing. How speed, like the page is loading, right? That is called as response time, and response time should be within the SLAs. So what is meant by SLA? Let's understand that. So first of all, SLA stands for service level agreement. Full form of SLA is service level agreement. So every page in a web application or a mobile app, be it a web application or a mobile app, so it will have certain SLAs. Response time SLA. Okay.
This meeting is being recorded.
So SLA stands for service level agreement. And what are response time SLAs? So every page, so when a developer is developing any application, be it a web application or a mobile application, so any page will have certain SLAs. For example, home page should be loaded in 2 seconds. So these are just examples, guys. Login should not take more than 3 seconds. This depends on application to application. That's why I mentioned that these are examples. These are not fixed values, guys, by the way. It depends on the application. So home page should be loaded somewhere around 2 seconds. Login should not take more than 3 seconds. A report or an account statement. A report or an account statement should not take more than 5 seconds. So there will be certain SLAs like this, response time SLAs like this. So this response time of the pages should be within these SLAs. Is it clear, guys?
Yes.
Guys, any queries? So that is what I mean to say, response time should be within the SLAs. And who will decide these SLAs?
Client.
Right. So client means the application architect decides based on the industry standards. Let's say, for example, we have Flipkart and Amazon and from many years, isn't it? And JioMart came into the e-commerce business last year. And now JioMart want to design their web application, right? At that time, your development team architect will decide, we'll see what are the SLAs of the existing applications or what are the SLAs of the competitors. So who are the competitors of JioMart?
Flipkart and Amazon.
We already have Flipkart and Amazon from many years. Now they will look into those what are the SLAs, or how much time, what are the response time of, what is the response time of home page, what is the response time of login transaction for those applications. Based on that, they will define the SLAs. The development architect will define the SLAs. Clear?
Yeah, Pawan, what are the industry standards for response times?
These are the standards. These are the normal standards.
So,
Home page 2 seconds, login 3 seconds. Report should not take more than 5 seconds. Previously,
Yeah.
it used to be, report used to be 8 seconds. Our login used to be 5 seconds previously. But nowadays, currently, these are the general response time SLAs.
Yeah,
Or
one
these
more.
are the industry standard response times. Huh?
Yeah, one more doubt. So we have 5 transactions is there in scenario.
Hmm.
So response time for all transactions or for individual transaction?
SLAs will be for individual transactions. They can't be generic.
Yeah, okay.
The answer to your question is here itself. See, homepage login report statement. For example, a user want to log into the page and download an account statement, right? So homepage, we should take less time. Login may take some more time, but report account statement will take like 5 seconds would be the normal SLA for a report or an account statement, because it has to pull lot of records from the database, right? When you are generating an account statement or a report, so it has to pull a lot of data from the database, isn't it?
Yeah, Pawan, who will prepare SLA?
That's what I explained just now. Your architect, development side architect will decide this.
Yeah, okay. Okay, thank you.
Next up. The next important factor for doing performance testing is stability. So what is meant by stability? To check how stable the application is under expected and unexpected user loads. To checking the application, checking the stability of the application under expected and unexpected user loads, right? And application performance should not degrade even after using very long time. Let's say like, users will be using from the morning till evening, right? So that, but the application performance should not degrade even after using for a long time, even after using till evening continuously by some or other user, the application performance should not degrade. So that is called stability. Or how stable is the application under expected and unexpected user loads? That is called as stability. Expected user load means normal user load for any application. Sometimes there will be some more than expected user load, right? Sometimes there will be some more than expected user load for an application. So application should be stable under expected and unexpected user loads as well. So that is stability. Checking that is called stability. Yeah.
I have a query here, sir. Can I ask right now? Yeah. So, sir, stability, are we measuring based on how many requests we get on the server, or how is it measured generally for an application?
What is? Can you please come again? I didn't get your
Okay.
question.
Stability is how many requests how we get based on the server, or how is it, sir? How do we generally? Is it how many users have currently logged in, or how do we measure that? How many
Yes,
users?
yeah. So we gradually increase the user load and go to expected user load and increase further.
Okay.
See, we will check whether the application is responding. Application performance is good even after using long time, as well as how is the application behavior under expected and unexpected user load. See, expected user load means every application will have some target user load. Let's say, for example, IRCTC target user load is 2 lakh users, right? So that is the expected user load. And when it will have unexpected user load, let's say during Tatkal time, you will have an unexpected user load, isn't it? We can't say how many users will access the application during Tatkal time, right? So we have to take some numbers over a period of time. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Or for if you take any e-commerce application, right? So whenever there is a sale, we cannot, we cannot expect the user load. I mean, we cannot estimate the exact user load whenever we have a sale, whenever we have some freedom sale or big billion sale or any occasion, isn't it? So that is unexpected user load. But say normally, like let's say Amazon will have, let's say 4 lakh users, right? At any point of time during the peak hours, let's say there will be some 4 lakh users. That is the expected user load for Amazon. But whenever there is sale or something, flash sale or big billion sale, we cannot exactly predict the user load, isn't it? So that is unexpected user load. So how do we test stability here is we check the with expected user load and then gradually increase the load and see till what load it is sustaining. The application is sustaining.
Thank you, sir.
And scalability means can the application handle unexpected user load and how does it behave beyond its capacity? So scalability, we are focused more on unexpected user load and how does it behave beyond its capacity, means whether response times are increasing. If response times are increasing slightly, that is fine. Okay, but application should not throw errors, isn't it? When there are more than expected, when the user load is more than normal, application should not throw errors. Response time increasing slowly is fine, acceptable. Response times increase in the response times is acceptable, but it should not throw errors or it should not break down. The application should not break down. So scalability shows like the application's ability to handle increasing user load without performance degradation. The application's ability to handle increasing user load without performance degradation, right? See, whenever you have a peak event like on Amazon, let's say, you have a big billion sale or some freedom sale or right, some festival sale, right, during Dasra or Diwali. So response times, a slight increase in the response times is acceptable, but it should not break down, right? So we should not get page not found or it should not break down, isn't it? So when we are testing scalability, when you say scalability, we test whether can the application handle unexpected user load and how does it behave beyond its capacity. This is important. Okay. And reliability, next factor is reliability. So reliability means how reliable is the application when and will users have positive experience once it goes to production. Go live means once the application goes into production, will the users have a positive experience and how reliable the application is. Is it clear, guys?
Yeah,
So these
Pawan,
are the, yes.
I have one more query. You say scalable test. I have one doubt. Scalability test test the application with expected feature load. Is it right or wrong?
Unexpected user load.
Unexpected user load.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, okay. Thank you.
Okay. And the performance metrics we will discuss later. So it's a bit early to cover this. So now the next concept that any queries before we move to the next one? So you know what is transaction response time, right? Okay. So let me explain what is transaction response time. Okay. So let's say, for example, you are typing apple.com, right? You went to Apple homepage. So this is one transaction that you did in performance testing. Any user action which involves sending some request to the server is called as a transaction. Okay. I repeat it again. Any user action which involves sending some request to the server is called as a transaction. Or else I'll take one. So we all are using Amazon and Flipkart to a great extent, right? Let's say you are typing amazon.in and you are sending a request to the server, to this Amazon server. So this is one transaction now. Okay? Now from here you went to mobile space. This is one more transaction. So any user action. So what is the user action that I'm doing here? I'm navigating to a new page. And it is getting some response from the page, isn't it? Let's say I went to coupons page. I have sent a request to Amazon server for coupons page and I got a response. I got some response from the server. So this is termed as a transaction. Clear, guys? Now, what is transaction response time? Okay, so let me show you how to measure the transaction response time. Without using a tool itself, we can measure it. So let's see how to measure that. Without using any performance testing tool, we can measure it, right? So how to measure that? So if you take any browser, right, you have something called developer tools. Okay. Can you open a browser on your machine? Any browser on your machine, guys? Everyone? Everyone, please open any browser. And if you are using Chrome browser, you see it on the top right, you see 3 vertical dots, right? Click over there and go to more tools, developer tools. Or this is the shortcut for this, Control Shift I. Or simply click F12 on your keyboard. Simply click F12 on your keyboard. Now I clicked F12. I used F12 key now. Everyone is seeing this one, this window.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now go to network tab. If you are not in network tab, please go to network tab. See, you have different tabs over here. Let me highlight that part. You have different tabs over here, right? Elements, console, sources, network. So please go to network tab. All right. Now access any page that you frequently visit or any website that you frequently visit. I am taking apple.com because so it will contain a lot of high resolution images and you will see the loading, right? You'll see some delay in the loading, isn't it? Right now, see here. So it took certain time to load the page, isn't it? See, observe here. It took around. See, it took around 10 seconds to load this complete page. Finish time. Okay. Did it take 10 seconds? 1 second. Let me clear this. Or let's take Amazon example. Amazon.in. See, the page is still loading, which is observe here. Right? So it took around some 10 seconds to load the page. It's still loading, of course, it's loading different components of the page. Or else take any example, any other example, ircdc.co.in. Let me clear this first. See, it's still loading different components of the page. So it took some 8 seconds. Okay, not 12 seconds, it's 12 seconds, right? So it took some 12 seconds to finish the page loading, isn't it? Yes or no, guys?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So this is the response time of this page, right? Or let's take some static pages. You can take any example like bigbasket.com or redbus.in or any application. So we can measure the response time of that page, using this developer tool. Okay. And also we can measure like how much time each component is taking also. Yeah. So see here you can see what is a component. So this page, any web page will have a lot of components, right? Let's say what is meant by a component. Let's say, let's take this website, apple.com example. So if you right click and view source, right? See, can you right click everyone and use this view page source? Right click on the page and or else use Control U as a shortcut. View page source, right? And now this page consists of some HTML code. Here you can see that this page is the document type is HTML. That means this web page document type is HTML. And you see some HTML code over here, isn't it? So this is some HTML code, right? And you have a lot of different components. You have images. Let me search for JPG. JPEG or JPEG. Okay. Yeah. So here you have like 24 images over here. Observe here, 1 out of 24. Able to follow, guys? See here, you see 1 out of 24. That means there are 24 PNG images. 24 images in PNG format, isn't it? And you will have, you will have JavaScript, .js files, .js, search for .js. See, there are 10 JavaScript files. actarget.js, and headbuilt.js, right? These are called as page. These are called as page components, components of the page. What are those page components, guys? Or what is a typical web page made up of? Web page components. So what are those, guys? Some HTML code, right?
PNG.
JavaScript files, and you will have .css files,
CSS.
right? So where CSS stands for
Cascading style sheet.
cascading style sheet. We'll discuss what is the purpose of CSS, what is JavaScript, and all we will discuss in the coming up sessions. For now, remember that these are the different web page components. What is meant by web page component? Part of a page. If any web page is made up of these different components, right? Like HTML code, images, JavaScript, CSS files, and so on. And now, so how to measure the transaction response time? If you want to measure the response time with a single user, you can use some of these tools like developer tools or HTTP watch. There are a couple of other tools which I will explain in the next 1 month, right? So we can, but you understood what is a transaction response time, right? What is a transaction? What is transaction response time? Is it understood, guys?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Dilip, what is a transaction?
Transaction is the request we are sending to the server, and response time, whatever the request we have sent to, we'll get the response from the server. That is transaction response time.
Yeah, Pawan, any user action is called transaction. So time taken by the server to process user request is called the response time.
Right, perfect. So any user action which involves sending some request to the server. Okay, why I'm saying which involves sending some request to the server is, suppose if you scroll down, right, you may not be sending a request to the server, isn't it? This is also a user action. Scrolling down the page is also a user action, right? If it doesn't involve any, like sending any request to the server, it can't be termed as a transaction. Understood? Understood or no, Murli?
Perfect.
Let's say you clicked on this drop down. So let's say you clicked on this drop down. You just clicked on the drop down, but here no transaction goes to the server, no request goes to the server. Then this can't be called as a transaction.
Yes.
So any request, any user action which involves sending some request to the server is called as a transaction, and the time taken to process that request is called as response time of the transaction. So this is about transaction response time.
Sir, one thing, as you showed the drop down now, you will come to know only by URL change, right? If the request is going to server or not at there.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, if you change this, like if you change the option, there may be some change in the URL, right?
Okay.
This is called as browser address bar, and this is, see, this box is called as address bar. Sorry.
Pawan, I have one more doubt.
Yeah, browser address bar. So here we enter this URL. Yeah.
Yeah. So Pawan, the URL will be like taking time to the network, right? So if network is very slow, then definitely response time also will take more time. It depends
Yes.
on internet, right?
Yes, it depends on the internet as well. It depends on the internet network. Yes.
Okay. Then
So we will take the average response time or 90th percentile. Okay, we'll discuss those. So we will not take, like the highest response time. We'll take average response time, or there is something called in performance testing. There is a concept called 90th percentile.
Okay.
Okay, we'll consider that when we are measuring the performance of an application, we consider 90th percentile. Okay, or average response time. We'll discuss that. We'll discuss that in the coming sessions, right? And these rest of the metrics, we'll discuss that later. Okay. So now I'll move to the next one. So these are the goals of doing performance testing. So we should measure the speed, stability, scalability, and reliability for any application. Right now, there are some factors, some other factors are, there are some factors for doing performance testing for an already existing application and for a newly built application. So what are the reasons for doing performance testing for an already existing application? Means the application is already in production, available to users. What is meant by production environment? Already in production means, let me elaborate it more. Already in production environment. What is meant by already in production environment? Means, see, this is a production environment. This is available for the real world users, right? All these websites. So this is called as live environment or production environment. Clear, guys? So some applications are already existing in production. Now, when do we do performance testing for those already existing systems? Let's understand that first. Is it clear, guys? What are the different scenarios in which we do performance testing for an already existing application, right? The first and foremost one is whenever a new feature or new functionality is added, right? So let's say WhatsApp is there from existing from many years, right? And there is some new feature added to WhatsApp like recently this year. Can you list out some new features added to WhatsApp?
Payment.
Using WhatsApp, right?
Payment.
Right. So payments feature is added to WhatsApp, right? Now, when that new feature or new functionality is added, even though it is an already existing application, before rolling out that feature to production, right? Before rolling that feature to production, means before rolling that feature to the end users, they will do performance testing for that application. Whenever a new feature or new functionality is added to the application, or let's say dark theme is being introduced, right? Now they have to do performance testing for the application before rolling out to production. Able to follow or no? Rolling out to production means before releasing it to the end users, we'll do performance testing even though it is an already existing application. Because we don't know, after introducing these payments, we don't know what would be the impact on the performance. What will be its performance impact? Able to follow, guys? Right? So whenever a new feature or functionality is added, we have to do performance testing. Next, increasing number of users are adding new users. Increasing number of users are adding new users. Let me take some example for this. Okay. So we can take n number of examples. So one example you might be more familiar with this. So you might have known this ING Vaishya Bank, right? ING Vaishya Bank, which was acquired by Kotak Mahindra. Do you know that, guys?
Yes,
Yes.
Right. So previously there used to be a bank called ING Vaishya Bank. Let's say, for example, they have 1 lakh net banking users. And Kotak Mahindra, let's say they have 4 lakh net banking users. Right? Now in 2020 or somewhere like this Kotak Mahindra Bank acquired this ING Vaishya Bank. They bought that Kotak Mahindra Bank bought that ING Vaishya Bank. Now after the merger, post merger, right? So you will have, like previously before merger, 1 lakh users are there for ING Vaishya Bank net banking. We are taking net banking application, right? Example. Now this Kotak Mahindra Bank has some 4 lakh net banking users. Now post the merger, right? Once the merger is completed or acquisition is completed, now if ING Vaishya Bank website will no longer exist and everyone will have to use Kotak.com, isn't it? Yes or no, guys?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
recently also some banks were merged. Andhra Bank was merged into some other bank, Union Bank or something, right? So I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
remember exactly, but there are some mergers and acquisitions, isn't it? So whenever, like now what happens is there will be new users, right? Increasing now. Previously, Kotak.com was used by before merger. Before this merger, Kotak.com website was used by 4 lakh user only. But now post merger, like 1 more lakh users get added to this, right? There will be 1 lakh more user load on the application. Yes or no? Right?
Yes.
So whenever you have such incidents, incidents also, increasing number of users are adding new users. Then also we have to do performance testing. Now Kotak Mahindra Bank, before merger itself, before announcing that the merger is completed, they have to do performance testing and see whether their existing Kotak.com application will support that 1 lakh users or not, new users or not, additional user load or not, isn't it? Now, in this case also, we do performance testing. Even though Kotak.com is existing from a long time, from many years, we have to do performance testing and determine whether this Kotak, the existing application can support those 1 lakh users or not. Clear case?
Yes, clear.
So in the same way, some SBI associate banks got merged into parent SBI group, right? At the same time, SBI has acquired some other banks like Bharti Mahila Bank and some other banks were merged into SBI. So in that case also, there will be increasing number of users or new users will be added to the application. So in that case also, we have to do performance testing for that application. Isn't it? So this is one, we can take a number of examples for this, right? The next reason for doing performance testing is, our next scenario where we do performance testing is a major software upgrade like database or OS migration. Okay, a major software upgrade like database or OS migration on the servers, right? So let's say, for example, we have Windows 10 till last year, and now this year Windows 11 was introduced, right? What is meant by OS migration? I'm explaining that case. Now let's say your application servers are using Windows 10 till last year. Of course, most of the servers will be running on Linux operating system. Most of these applications, Amazon or Apple, most of the applications or mobile applications, web applications will be running on Linux machines. Okay, there will be very few Windows applications which will be running on Windows servers. There will be very few servers. Like for example, ATM applications, somehow they use Windows operating system only, isn't it? Yes or no, guys? You ever seen, like, whenever there is some ATM machine get restarted, you see that Windows operating system, isn't it?
Yes.
Why they will have that Windows is, like, the technicians who will be working on ATM machines and all, they will not be good in Linux environment on command. See, you might have seen that Linux environment, right? You will not have a UI. Most of the servers, most of the flavors of Linux will not have user interface. They will have a command prompt only, isn't it? Right? Now, what is OS migration? Operating system migration. OS migration stands for operating system migration. Means from one operating system, moving from one operating system to another operating system. That is called as OS migration. Okay. Or upgrading a database. Or else you will take some examples like this. So every now and then, your mobile operating system will be updated, right? Your Android or iOS, they will release some new version, software version, isn't it? So whenever there is some operating system migration or database migration, or whenever there is some new feature is added, that will be released as a, you will get an upgrade on your mobiles, right? In all these cases, we have to do this Guys, are you able to follow or no?
Yes,
Yes.
Paul.
Yeah. So whenever there is a software upgrade like database or OS migration on the servers, then also we do performance testing. We have to do performance testing to determine how good or badly it will be affected. The application will be affected. Or whenever there is a hardware upgrade on the servers. Whenever there is a hardware upgrade on the servers. I'll take in some example, some real life example over here. Let's say, for example, you have 8 GB RAM on your machine, and when you are using some programs, right? So your system is getting hanged. Your system is not responding and it is getting hanged, right? So what do you generally do, guys, in that case?
We will increase the RAM.
Increase the GB.
Right. So first thing you will check is like, what is the reason for that? Why system is not responding? So one way to check that is you go to task manager, go to performance, right? And you can see over here, see CPU utilization is currently 38%, right? Memory utilization is currently 54%. Okay. CPU utilization is around 20 to 30%. Memory utilization is around 50 to 60%. Now, if I am running few more applications, I want to open few more applications on my machine. So I'm quickly opening some applications. Now, what happens is, see your CPU utilization, see what happened to your CPU utilization? It is hitting 100% here. See here. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
And in the same way, memory utilization also going up. Observe here. So it is going up slightly, it's going up slowly, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes.
See, it went from 50 plus to 60 plus. Memory utilization went up from 50 plus to 60 plus, isn't it? And here you see here CPU utilization increased to 100%. Now, if your system hangs, first thing I will check is, right? I will see if it is I'll check if it is due to CPU utilization or a memory utilization or CPU saturation or memory saturation, right? Saturation means I will see if, suppose if memory is hitting 100% or consistently above, memory is consistently above 100%, right? I'll simply upgrade my RAM. Yes or no? We will add some more additional RAM to the machine. Yes or no, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Anyone did that? How does a RAM look like in a computer? You'll go to a hardware shop and add the one more RAM. Yes or no? You will ask him to upgrade the RAM, right? So once you upgrade the RAM, again you will open some programs and see whether there is any improvement or not. Yes or no?
Yes.
Right? So whenever there is in the same way, whenever there is some hardware upgrade on the servers, right? When I say servers, right? So it can be a web server, app server, DB server. We'll understand, we'll have one session, separate session on web app and DB servers. What is a web server? What is app server? And what is a database server? I'll explain it over here, right? For now, understand that any application runs on any website that you are accessing, right? All these, any application runs on web server, app server, database server. Now, whenever there is a hardware upgrade on the servers also, we do this performance testing. Whenever there is a software upgrade also, we do this performance testing, right? And after fixing any performance issues, let's say an application is having performance issues, and after fixing the performance issues also, we will do performance testing to find out whether those issues are really fixed or not. Able to follow?
So, but after increasing, like for example, if the memory is low and you have increased the memory, again you have to do a round of performance testing. Is that
Right.
correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. And performance testing is also done as an ongoing or regular activity in each sprint. What is meant by a sprint? Sprint means like 2 weeks duration. Generally, a sprint duration is 2 weeks in any project. Okay. So what is a sprint? Sprint means 2 weeks duration is generally termed as a sprint. In any software project. Right? So this performance testing is done as an ongoing or regular activity in each sprint. Even though an application is already existing, right? We do performance testing not only when a new feature is added, not only when number of adding new users is done, or not only when a software upgrade or hardware is done, hardware upgrade is done. So it is done as an ongoing or regular activity in every sprint. Okay, because in every sprint, some or new feature will be added or some bug fixing will be done. Able to follow, guys? In any software project, for every 2 weeks, for every sprint, what happens in every sprint? Either some new feature will be added or bug fixing will be done. Okay, and now new code will be released to production. So performance testing is also done as an ongoing activity in any software project. Clear, guys, everyone?
Yeah, Bhavan, you're saying like we will do load test for every 2 weeks.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
If the cycle is if the sprint cycle is 2 weeks, right? For every 2 weeks, we do load testing. Not only load testing, we have to do soak testing as well, long duration test.
Yeah,
And
okay.
depending on the requirement, you have to do stress test, spike test, and all those also.
Okay.
Depending on the application.
Okay.
Now, what are the reasons for doing a performance testing for a newly built application? What are the reasons for doing performance testing for a newly built application? Right? Now, let's understand that. So, first one is assess readiness of production environment and determine the user load capacity of existing systems. Guys, by the way, I will be uploading from today onwards. I will be uploading videos as private videos. So please ping me your Gmail ID. Some people may get disconnected in between. That's why I'm saying now. Right? Please share your Gmail ID in WhatsApp to me. So this is my WhatsApp number. As you can see here, save this contact, right? And share your Gmail ID on this WhatsApp number. So from today onwards, I will be uploading as private videos. Clear, guys? I will not upload to my YouTube channel as public video. Okay. So whenever we, so why do we do performance testing for a newly developed application, newly built application? Let's say development team has developed a new application, and why do they, why, in what cases or in which scenario or what is the reason for doing performance testing, right? First and foremost reason is assess readiness of production environment and determine user load capacity of the existing application. Assess readiness of production environment means how good is how ready it is or how good it is to go into production. Right? So to assess that, to assess that, we do performance testing, and also to determine user load capacity of existing systems. Means how many users can the application support? To determine that also we do performance testing, and compare performance characteristics with different system configurations. Compare the performance with different system configurations. System configuration means it can be hardware configuration or a software configuration. Software configuration means different settings. Hardware configuration means your CPU, memory, and all this, disk and all this, right? So with different system configurations, to compare the performance with different configurations also, we do performance testing. And support the system or application tuning. So we'll discuss this later. This is again like, I should explain what is meant by application tuning, right? Then we'll understand this, like why do we do performance testing when you are doing the application tuning the application performance. But these are the three major reasons for testing, for doing performance testing for a newly built application. And next, creating benchmarks for future systems. Creating benchmark means benchmark is nothing but initial performance of an application. Benchmark is nothing but initial performance of an application. Suppose an application is newly developed and still in development. It's not completed. Some application is newly developed and came to some stage, right? So then we take an initial performance of the application so that in future, like if any new feature is added, a new functionality is added, right? And if there are any changes made to the application, we will compare that after that performance with the initial performance to see if those changes has impacted badly or in a good way. Okay, so hold on. So I'll stop it here, guys, for today. We'll discuss all these in detail in the tomorrow's session. These are something very new concepts to you, right? I don't want to overload you too much. So I'll stop it here for today, and we'll complete this reasons for doing our goals of performance testing for a newly developed application tomorrow. And I'll start different types of performance testing also in the next session. Okay. So today is Friday, right? So we'll have a next session on Monday. Okay, guys. Any queries before we close the session for today?
Pawan, do you have Google Pay or Phone Pay for this number?
This number doesn't have. I will share the Google Pay or Phone Pay number. Who is this?
Dilip.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, I'm trying to send the
Please
payment
pass it.
on Google Pay. It is not showing your Google Pay number.
Yeah, this number doesn't have. Let me pass recording first.